there for the starting grid. Safety car lights will go out in a moment as he gets out of timing sector 2, just out of Sterling's bend. He will be, or just into Sterling's bend, he will be clear. And that means that Andy Susek will get ready to restart again at the head of this build. Here we go, green again, 12 laps remaining. Andy Susek leads the field through clearways, Park Curve and onto the Brabham Straight. 11 to go as he crosses the line and they go green. And again, a great restart for the Spaniard, Robert Wickens, Canadian driver, just not close enough and quick enough. Mikhail Elysian in third, Philip Egg in fourth, all safely through paddock this time. Up to Druids they go, and again the field a little more stretched out this time. Everybody safely through with no major dramas. Nobody off in the gravel at paddock, nobody off at Druids. The rain shower that halted the race on lap 2 has not made much difference to the track surface, but again, following the safety car, drivers will find that the tyres are not quite as hot as they needed to be, pressures won't be right, grip won't quite be there either. Behind Alex Brundle, you can see Kasim Vasiliauskas in the red car, attacking Amani Ibrahim in the blue car. This is for 13th place. Behind 24 Tom Gladys. Oh, and a huge off, that's Jack Clark. Well, he's gone with the wheel, took right across the nose of Henry Surtees' car. And that's a very nasty looking accident. And worry immediately is Surtees. Yes, Surtees is moving as well. They've got a red flag. The safety car now is going to be scrambled again. While the emergency crews get to Jack Clark and Henry Surtees. Clark was moving in the car. He certainly had a very hefty impact against the barriers. He's out. My worry is mainly for Henry Surtees. Didn't see exactly where the wheel bounced. Clark hits the barriers here on the exit of Westfield. Big impact there, really rattled him. And I think the wheel caught Henry Surtees on the helmet, and that has got to be a very major worry. So the rescue crews will immediately go to work to look after Henry Surtees. That is going to be their prime concern. Jack Clark bounding out of the car. He's had a big whack. The red flags are out. Race will be stopped, and I would be surprised if we're in a position to restart this. I think everybody's attentions will be immediately on Henry Surtees. We will wait until we get some news of him. And for everybody concerned, all thoughts immediately will be for Henry. As far as we can see, he certainly appeared to be incapable of bringing the car to a safe halt or steering the car as it ran straight off the road. The replay, I'm afraid, did seem to show that the tyre that come off Jack Clark's car had bounced and looked, whether it caught him a glancing blow or not, certainly looked as though it had really rattled Henry. I'm afraid that we're just going to have to sit and wait patiently until we hear some news from the medical crews, and that may not be the most immediate thing. So the cars will come back to the grid, but as soon as they hear the news for everybody, then their concerns will not be about restarting this race. Coming back past Parker and past Sheen Curve through Sterling's Bend and coming down. Well, I'm not sure now whether race control will direct them onto the grid or back into the pit lane. This race should be immediately followed by the second World Touring Car encounter It's a short day on Sunday at Brands Hatch. You're not allowed to have any engine noise before 10 a.m. Safety car brings them back to the grid, so they have the potential to get the race restarted as time continues, but I'm sure that we will run out of time, certainly before we get to full race distance. This second red flag, I'm afraid, may put the kibosh on round 8 of the Formula 2 Championship. The standings at the end of lap 9, Andy Susek from Robert Wickens and Michael Alishin. Philippe Eng, the race 1 winner, is in 4th place ahead of Mirko Bortolotti and Tobias Hegewald. And the race is suspended for the 2nd time. That allows them the opportunity to restart if there is time. And the emergency crews there attending to Henry Surtees. You can see the ambulances there, the doctors, everybody extremely well trained here. They're very well trained in extrication of drivers from vehicles. It's something that the marshals practice on a very regular basis, and the medics will be looking after Henry. You see the extrication crew are there, but not in action yet. So they will attend to Henry, and only when the doctor is absolutely comfortable for him to be moved will they even think about extrication. Well, we heard from Giles Butterfield after the rain delay what the procedure was, that you come to the grid and that's the order in which you will restart. 1 safety car lap to build you back up to speed and get a look around the track. And again, if they get the opportunity to restart here, that is exactly what they'll do. Each of the cars has its own dedicated mechanic for the season, and each of the drivers will have, or in fact a little cadre of 3 or 4 drivers will be sharing 1 race engineer for data and setup and so on. Ambulance on its way to pick up Henry. And I know his father John, who is here this weekend, will be the first to want to find out news from the scene of that accident. Race commentator Ian Titchmarsh there, going down to have a quick word with Robert Wickens, a Canadian who's in 2nd place. Susek's dad there with him. And by the pit wall there in the dark jacket, that's Andy Miller. Engineered many successful drivers in Formula 3 in the Paul Stewart racing team. Sergio Hernandez there. You fancy a go, I think, mate, was the word from the mechanics there. And Andy Miller helping Andy Susek get his head around this new Formula 2 car. Sebastian Hohenthal there out of the car. Hohenthal getting ready to restart. Quite a long way down the order, unfortunately. Not a great return here, 16th place for him. Susek fairly comfortable at both restarts, made a really good job of jumping away from Robert Wickens. Wickens, to my mind, not even remotely approaching a good restart either time. Black noseband on the yellow on the tip of his Red Bull car, and I'm not exactly sure what that is about. Have to ask. Jack Clark's car heavily damaged there at that shunt on the exit of Westfield. Westfield's one of the corners on the Grand Prix circuit at which you know an accident is going to end up with a big impact with the barriers, likely as not. Hawthorne, there's a bit more runoff. There's just no more room to be pinched there at Westfield. Absolutely nowhere to extend it back. That barrier does come pretty close. Once you're on the grass, you're in the wall. There's just no way back. It's a little bit like Indianapolis. Grey equals wall here, green equals wall on the exit of Westfield. Many of our touring car drivers will know that to their own detriment. Some very big shunts there, particularly if it's wet. Fortunately, even the tiny little rain shower we just had won't have made that much damage. Chance for some of the fans to get their lunch in. Henry Carrialainen here in his car with its distinctive crocodile skin livery. Well, one of the first timers here on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, finding it just as tough to decipher as anywhere they've been so far this season. 9 corners, not one of them straightforward. Half of them are blind, either a blind entrance or a blind exit, or both. Most of them are off camber. None of them are flat, even on the throttle. No, it's a really demanding racetrack. We'll wait to find out from race director Dave Scott exactly what the situation might be with regard to a restart. There's our race 1 winner, Philippe Eng. In fact, I was saying the guy who's chatting to him there, checking the watch, thought maybe that might be his dad. I didn't recognise Christian Danner. How could I not have recognised him? Another ex-Formula 2 driver, Christian Danner, the Swiss, who fans of my age will remember driving Marches, where he basically sort of slightly looked like a comedy giraffe driving it. Christian Danner, about 6'3" or 4", and always stuck a long way out to the top of the car. In those days, the roll hoop was stood up tall over the cockpit, and there was no engine airbox. The engine, the trumpets, the intake trumpets had a foam cover over the top of them, but they stuck out clear of the bodywork as well. And in fact, it made him look as if he was head and shoulders out of the car. Well, away from the first start, good start by Wickens, very slow start from Mirko Bortolotti, allowed Elishin and Iaconelli to go through. They both went around Philip Eng as well, who didn't make a good getaway. Paddock Hill Bend, a very demanding corner in which to make a pass, but there were quite a few successfully pulled off. Druids for the first time. Well, they managed to get around there safely as well, something the World Touring Car drivers will do well to emulate. A little bit of a touch there, Nicola Di Marco, and that's how he ended up off the track. I think that possibly might have been Natasha Gatchnang. And then a spin there from Carlos Iaconelli. I think that was on his own, just asking too much of cold tyres on lap 1 on the Exeter Westfield. Picked up a lot of muck from the paint, as you can see. Rejoined, and then the rain swept in on lap 2. Marco had found himself off the track again. Into paddock, Vasiliauskas trying to make up 3 places, made up 2 of them. The third one was the clincher though, had Pavlovic off into the gravel. See him restarting at the bottom of the hill. He is still in the race. Druid's second time round, Surtees edged out wide. Hegerveld then goes for the exit curve look, takes it, leaving Surtees with the grass crete, spat across the road in time-honoured Brands Hatch fashion. Knew that was coming, was already working to try and sort it out. Got beached there, the marshal's having to work hard to try and get him back on. Sorry mate, can't help. Sebastian Hohenthal going off at Sheen Curve, coming back on, very slow through Stirling's after his gravel trapping. Asking a lot too much of the tyre there, quite clearly. Flying across the gravel. Portuman Sanchez, the Spaniard, trying to go around the outside. Hohenthal doesn't see him. A bit of a Christian Fittipaldi reach for the stars moment there. So he was out of the race as well. And then Jack Clark, big accident here, and the errant wheel clipping Henry Surtees as he went by, unable to do anything to stop the car. It rattled into the barriers, and all attention now with Surtees. Now the ambulance is on its way back to the medical centre. The medics have already been looking after one of our cameramen, Thomas, who's been pretty unwell this weekend, so thank you in advance from him, or thank you from him, and in advance let's hope that they can look after Henry Surtees. See the state of the starting area here. It's either uphill or downhill in all directions. You couldn't leave anything here, it would roll away. A screwdriver being used to stop Hegerveld's car rolling into the one in front. Henry Surtees' car will be recovered. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then maybe